signs. Do you remember when we're talking about signs, we talked about when a positive sign multiplies a negative sign, and let me just bring it out for you to remember. Now you still remember this when we said that plus times plus is equal to plus, plus times minus is equal to minus, minus times plus is equal to minus, minus times minus is equal to plus. And so we have different signs negative, same sign positive. 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 It's not difficult. Anytime you want to multiply, you have plus times minus, okay, to give us what? Minus. For example, if you have minus 2 times what? Times plus 3. That will be what? To give you minus times plus what? Minus. Once the signs are different, your answer is going to be what? Minus. Going to be negative. Minus times plus will give what? Minus. The same thing applies to division. If it is division, once you are dividing, let's say minus 2 over minus 6, that will be what? Minus dividing minus is got same sign positive. Okay, and our answer, this will take that, and you have what? 1 over 3. Okay, it's very, very important. Your signs, when you are not strong in maths, this the first thing that comes in. This is what makes you not to be strong in maths, because you may start solving, and at the time you see that, oh, you missed the sign somewhere, and once you miss the sign, there's every tendency that you are not going to get the answer correctly. So just remember the song: different signs negative, same sign positive. Different signs negative, same sign positive. Once you are dividing or you are multiplying, once the signs are different, your answer will be negative. Okay, but if the signs are the same, the answer will always be positive. Please just take note, because this is the foundation of mathematics as a whole. But when we now talk about solving equations, this one is very, very important, because you always have to change sign from one type to the other. Yes, we have treated this. Let's go to the next step, the LCM. Talking about LCM, you remember you did this in your primary school days. If we have, for example, let's say 1 over 2 plus 1 over 3. What do? You look for the LCM of the denominators here. LCM of 2 and 3 is what? Is 6. You still remember? 6. You have 6. 2 into 6 will give us 3. Plus 3 into 6 will give us what? 2. And that will now give us 5 over 6. If we say, for example, LCM of 3x and let's say 8xy, the LCM, lowest common multiple. Lowest common multiple. The meaning of LCM is that what is the lowest number that is common to all of them, to the two of them, which is a multiple. Okay, we are looking for the number that the two of them can divide without a remainder. That's the multiple of these numbers. The smallest number that these two numbers can divide without a remainder, the answer is 6. Okay, that's the meaning of LCM. The lowest number that all those numbers can divide without a remainder. So the LCM of 3x and 8xy will be what? You just draw your line. It will give us what? You see, x is common there, so it will be x, y will be there, LCM. What's the LCM of 3 and 8? Just remember how to look for LCM. You draw down your line, isn't it? How to look for LCM. Come like that, isn't it? Okay, then you start writing. You have 3, you have 8. What can go? The smallest number, 2. There cannot go, there will be a remainder. You write it out again. 2 there will be what? Will be 4. Okay, look for the smallest number that can divide these two number without a remainder. Is what? Is 2. 2 here is what? You have 3, write it out. 2 here is what? 2. Okay, you go again. What is the smallest number? 2. Here will be what? Here will be, write it out, there will be a remainder, so you don't divide. 2 into this place is what? 1. You did it in primary school days. Okay, the next one will be 3, isn't it? 1, 1. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 3, that will give you 8 times 3, 24. So the LCM of 3 and 8 is what? Is 24. So the LCM of these two numbers, 3x and 8xy, is what? Is 24xy. This is the LCM. Okay, this is the LCM. Is equal to this. Now the essence of LCM in change of subject formula is that when there are fractions, you will always need to multiply through by the LCM. So in this case, to clear fractions, if we are to have something like this, let me write it out. If we are to have something that has this as denominators, okay, these two numbers as denominators, for example, let's say that we have something like 3 1 over 3x plus 8xy over let's say over 10 equal to 0. If you want to over 10, sorry, 8xy, no, the 8xy should be a denominator. Okay, let me correct it. You have 10 over 8xy equal to 0. If you have something, so the first thing you to do is to clear fractions. So you will need to know the LCM of 3x and 8xy. That's going to give us what? These are 24xy. Okay, so your LCM should be very, very strong. Must be very, very strong for you to be able to solve this topic effectively. Now we have treated this. The next is indices. How is your indices? Your indices has to be very, very strong if you are to be good in change of subject or formula. Let's revisit it again. Now you still remember your laws of indices. The first law was the first law. The first law is says what? Says that a raised to power m times a raised to power n is equal to what? A raised to power m plus n. Second law states that what? A raised to power m, okay, divide a raised to power n is equal to what? A raised to power m minus n. Okay, and also you have what? You have that a raised to power m or raised to power n is equal to what? A raised to power m times n, isn't it? That will be a raised to power mn. Then also you have that the nth root, vice versa. You have that a raised to power 1 over n is equal to the nth root. That will be nth root, the nth root of what? Of where is it? Of a. The nth root of a. That's the meaning. Okay, that's it. So all these laws of indices, you have to revisit them again and know that your indices is very strong before you start treating change of subject of formula. We have treated this. We have treated this. Treated this. The last thing here is additive and multiplicative inverse. You have to know this, very, very important. Additive and multiplicative inverse. Now, additive inverse, we'll talk about additive inverse. This one. Additive inverse. We said that if you want to take something from one side to the other side, the additive inverse is that number that will make the value 0. Additive inverse, okay, is what will translate to 0. While multiplicative inverse, okay, multiplicative inverse is what will translate to 1, will get 1. For example, if we have a number standing alone, please take note, a number that is standing alone, let's say a plus b is equal to 0. Now if you want to remove the b from the left hand side, you see it is standing alone, so you ask yourself, what do you do to it to get 0? Anytime it's standing alone, you use additive inverse. And if it is not standing alone, if it is standing with any other item, you use multiplicative inverse. So now b is what? Is standing alone. If we say ab is equal to 5, for example, b is not standing alone here. So in this case, to remove b from the left hand side, we use multiplicative inverse, so that b will become 1, and we have a times 1, which is the same thing as a. Okay, the essence of additive inverse is that what do you add to that number to give you 0? That's additive inverse, because you want to remove it from that side. Okay, so in this case we add minus b to both sides, so we're using additive inverse because it is standing alone. Okay, so you can now say that a plus b minus b is equal to 0 minus b. Here you want to remove b from the left hand side, so that this will cancel. Okay, so that one will cancel. That's the essence of additive inverse. You can see additive inverse. But for multiplicative inverse, you want to remove, for example, you have ab is equal to 6. You want to remove b from this side, you now multiply by the inverse of b, which is what? 1 over b times b to give us what? That will give us what? 1. I hope you understand. It's not difficult at all. When a number is standing alone and you want to remove it from that side, you use additive inverse because it will make it 0. But if it is standing with another item, you use multiplicative inverse to make it 1. Now you can see that we have treated this, we have treated this, we have treated this, we have as well treated this. Now once you are good in all these 4 items, you won't have problems treating this topic, change your subject of formula.